Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk. Kim Kardashian is not really going to law school. We wonder if Michael Avenatti actually went to law school. The governor of New York wants to crack down on prosecutors who probably should take some ethics classes from law school. And we have the dumb criminal of the week. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. Once again, this is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk. The first thing on the docket today is Kim Kardashian. A lot of people know Kim Kardashian because she's famous for being famous. But before she was famous, her dad was famous. Her dad was Robert Kardashian, who was one of the OJ attorneys. Well, now Kim Kardashian wants to be an attorney. She really got the attorney bug after helping an individual who was in federal prison on a lengthy drug sentence receive clemency from Donald Trump. And now she wants to be a lawyer. Most states require, for one to be licensed as a lawyer, that you graduate from an ABA accredited law school, the American Bar Association law school accreditation. Additionally, you have to have a college degree. You have to have graduated from law school and pass the bar exam. But California, being California, is going to let everyone do it just a little bit differently. Apparently, there is an apprentice program where Miss Kardashian can be mentored by an attorney over the next several years, and after a year, take what they refer to as a baby bar exam, which will allow her to basically continue on and proceed, and then ultimately be able to take the ultimate bar exam. So, if most people don't know what the bar exam consists of, California used to be a 3-day bar exam. It's now, like everybody else, it's a 2-day bar exam. First day is multiple choice questions on many subject matters, and then the following day is a written exam where you have to answer questions in essay format. Obviously, you have to pass before you can be admitted to the bar. You have to meet the moral and ethical standards as well. But the most important thing is you have to pass the bar exam. I've known people that have failed the bar exam several times. It doesn't mean that they're not going to be a great attorney. Sometimes they just have test anxiety. Fortunately for me, I passed the bar exam the first time, and it was good. But I am not so certain that you should be able to be an attorney without going to law school. There's a certain part about going to law school where you are overwhelmed by the amount of work, amount of cases that you have to read. Understanding how lawyers think, it's different than everybody else. That's probably why most people don't like lawyers, is because we think differently. But it takes time. The writing style is different. The analysis is different. The rules of law that you have to comprehend are different. Does it mean that not anybody can be a lawyer? No. Anybody can be a lawyer. If you watched it, you followed it enough, anybody could be an effective lawyer. But there's a process that comes with that, and it becomes from experience. So just being able to follow a mentor, I'm not sure is a great way to be able to do that. There are many things that you learn in law school that you simply can't learn while mentoring. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that instead of 3 years of law school, it should be more like when you go to medical school. Medical school, you do your first year, it's all books, it's all classes, and then you go out and you do your various rotations and you figure out what you like. Most people what determines what they're going to do in their life as an attorney is based upon their first job out, and you kind of get niched, or you get pigeonholed into that little niche, and that's where you stay for a long time. I wish Miss Kardashian luck in law school, but we will be curious to see how things turn out. California has one of the lowest pass rates when it comes to the bar exam. Last year, it was 52.6. I believe here in Colorado, it's near 80 to 90%. because basically anybody can take the bar exam. And I think that may have something to do with it. But I don't have a statistic on the people who didn't go to law school actually passed the bar exam, just the overall rate. But Miss Kardashian says that she really likes criminal law. She doesn't like torts, and contracts are boring. Well, I can tell you there's certain things that you learn in law school that you just are not going to actually be able to understand, and it takes time to develop that. Maybe Miss Kardashian is head and shoulders above most law students, but most law students sometimes just don't get it. There's things that you remember to this day from my contract professor. The definition of consideration for a contract, a promise, act, or forbearance, bargain for, given in exchange for, benefit of the promisor, detriment of the promisee. You need that to have a contract. You don't necessarily just learn that by having a mentor teach you that information. I wish her luck, but let's wait and see. The next matter on the docket is Michael Avenatti. Mr. Avenatti's claim to fame over the last several years is that he has represented Stormy Daniels, who states that she had a relationship with now President Trump and that she was paid some $130,000 to keep quiet about that. Mr. Avenatti wanted to undo that contract and ultimately did not succeed. And Stormy Daniels now has a $300,000 bill payable to Mr. Trump's attorneys for legal fees because of the advice that she received from Mr. Avenatti. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Mr. Avenatti was arrested and charged with extortion in New York State because he was trying to allegedly extort some $20+ million from Nike and threatened to tank their stock if he didn't get what he wanted for his client, which was about $1 million. And then if they hired his firm to do an audit, that things were probably going to work out okay. Well, simultaneously, he was also being investigated, and ultimately today, the United States Attorney in the Southern Division of the Central District of California came out with a 36-count indictment against Mr. Avenatti. Mr. Avenatti is also charged with willful failure to collect and pay over withheld taxes, endeavoring to obstruct administration of the Internal Revenue Code, willful failure to file tax returns, bank fraud, aggravated identity theft, false declaration in a bankruptcy, false testimony under oath in a bankruptcy, and these are all done in violation of the United States Code. The gist of it is Mr. Avenatti obtained loans illegally, used the money for his personal use, and then embezzled money from clients that should have gone to them as it related to settlements in cases, and used it for his own personal finances, including at one point purchasing a private aircraft. The government has also alleged a forfeiture allegation, which means that if there is a plea or a conviction, anything related to the money stolen or ill-gotten gains, the federal government will be able to seize that and be able to use that to pay restitution to the individuals, the victims involved. He has over $5 million owed to the IRS because of not withholding taxes for employees to the coffee company that he bought. He was living a big lifestyle. His lifestyle was clearly exceeding his bank account. So Mr. Avenatti is going to have some trouble. One of the first things they teach you in law school is if you want to be a lawyer and keep your license, simple rules. Communicate with your client. Don't sleep with your clients. And by God, don't steal the client's money. Mr. Avenatti broke the biggest rule. Don't steal the client's money. Now, next matter on the docket today is Governor Cuomo in New York State has introduced legislation to establish a commission to basically investigate allegations of corrupt district attorneys and ultimately remove them from office is determined that they are not acting ethically. Now, this is receiving a lot of blowback from district attorneys, legislators in his own party. The governor is a Democrat, but is receiving blowback from Democrats and Republicans alike, not to mention district attorneys throughout the state. This commission was proposed basically because there's been so many cases where prosecutors have acted inappropriately, unethically, and downright illegally, and nothing was done about it. So I'll be curious if this commission's ultimately ever created, but sometimes prosecutors need to be slapped down a little bit if they misbehave, and it takes some guts to do that. In most circumstances, district attorneys have no repercussions to them if they do something unethical. They simply, the case is dismissed and people move on as it relates to criminal cases. Now, we've all been waiting for this. Yes, the other night we talked about the dumb criminal of the week, and it was a no-brainer to our winner down in Dallas, Texas, who liked to break into homes and with a feather tickle the buttocks of men in their house. He may be the all-time winner of the dumb criminal of the week, but today we have 3 contestants to choose from. The first is a Florida man, Mr. Aaron Merwine, who's 27 years old, and he is allegedly accused of stabbing a dog with, what was that? Sorry. He's alleged of stabbing a dog with a floor scraper because he said that there was a strong magnetic force between the Chihuahua and Mr. Merwine, and that basically the dog had to go. Not sure why Mr. Merwine wanted to do that exactly, other than the strong magnetic force. Perhaps the force will not be with Mr. Merwine, and he needs to seek some assistance, perhaps some mental health, or get off the unknown intoxicants that he was on while he was stabbing the Chihuahua. Mr. Merwine was under an unknown substance that was probably allowing him to make poor choices. Now, Florida has got to be one of the states where the dumb criminal of the week just always seems to come from. But we have an individual down there. I think he's pulling ahead quickly today. Andrew Lippi, Lippi, 59 years old. Last week, he just happened to purchase an $8 million island near Key West. And apparently he has saved this money because he is a rather frugal individual. And what he would do would go to Kmart and purchase new items for his home. For example, a Keurig, take the Keurig out, place a basketball in the box, and then return it. He did that with several items of coffee makers. He did that with bed sheets, returning it only with a pillowcase. And these items totaled roughly $300. The man had $8 million to purchase an island, but doesn't want to pay $300 for decorating it. I don't know about you, but Mr. Lippi is definitely a strong contender. But wait, there's more. The next and final contestant is a 7-Eleven store clerk who had been employed for roughly 2 weeks at the convenience store. He was working with a female employee who he had not worked with before. Apparently, the female employee kept stating that she was bored and wanted to go home. The woman then sat down on a chair in the office behind the cash register, and Demaray, who is the individual that was arrested, apparently walks up to the woman and said, since she was bored, he then pulled out his penis and asked the woman if she wanted to, quote, perform oral sex. As a way for them to jointly pass the time on the lobster shift. end quote. When the female worker declined to fillet Mr. Desmarais, he pulled up his pants before exposing himself. Desmarais advised that the woman gave him a look while she was on her cell phone. He was arrested on misdemeanor charges of indecent exposure and obviously is no longer employed at the 7-Eleven. This is going to be a close call between Desmarais and Mr. Lippy, but I think today it's going to go to Mr. Lippy. If you have $8 million to buy yourself an island, you should be able to furnish it. And if you can't furnish the house on an $8 million island, don't buy the $8 million island if it's going to leave you broke that you have to basically shoplift. So, thank you for watching Crime Talk. If you like the channel, please subscribe, hit that like button, hit the little bell so you'll get notifications of what is coming next. Additionally, you can go to scottreisch.com and we will have up in the next day or so the indictment for Mr. Avanetti if anyone wants to read it for themselves. Thanks for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Have a great night. This is Scott Reisch.